The ASP.NET MVC is an open-source web application framework that implements the Modeler Euro Viewer Euro Controller pattern. Background: based on ASP.NET, ASP.NET MVC allows software developers to build a web application as a composition of three roles: model, view and controller. The MVC model defines web applications with three logic layers: model, view, controller. A model represents the state of a particular aspect of the application. A controller handles interactions and updates the model to reflect a change in state of the application, and then passes information to the view. A view accepts necessary information from the controller and renders a user interface to display that information. In April 2009, the ASP.NET MVC source code was released under the Microsoft Public License. ASP.NET MVC Framework is a lightweight, highly testable presentation framework that is integrated with existing ASP.NET features. Some of these integrated features are master pages and membership-based authentication. The MVC framework is defined in the system.web MVC assembly. The ASP.NET MVC framework couples the models, views, and controllers using interface-based contracts, thereby allowing each component to be tested independently. Apache License 2.0 release. In March 2012, Scott Guthrie announced on his blog that Microsoft had released part of their web stack under an open-source license. Guthrie wrote that doing so will enable a more open development model where everyone in the community will be able to engage and provide feedback on code check-ins, bug fixes, new feature development, and build and test the products on a daily basis using the most up-to-date version of the source code and tests. The source code now resides on CodePlex. ASP.NET Web Forms was not included in this initiative for various reasons. Release history: View engines. The view engines used in the ASP.NET MVC3 and MVC4 frameworks are the Razor View Engine and the Web Forms View Engine. Both view engines are part of the MVC3 framework. By default, the view engine in the MVC framework uses Razor CS-HTML and VB-HTML, or Web Forms ASPX pages to design the layout of the user interface pages onto which the data is composed. However, different view engines can be used. Additionally, rather than the default ASP.NET Web Forms postback model, any interactions are routed to the controllers using the ASP.NET routing mechanism. Views can be mapped to REST-friendly URLs. Other view engines: the mventrib library contains 8 alternate view engines: Braille, Django, NHAML, Velocity, Sharp Tiles, Spark, String Template and XSLT. The String Template view engine utilizes a .NET port of a popular Java templating engine, String Template. Spark is a view engine for the ASP.NET MVC frameworks. Django is a port of the popular Django templating engine to .NET. It is written in F and comes with Visual Studio extension including full IntelliSense support, Naked Objects MVC, an implementation of the Naked Objects pattern using ASP.NET MVC. Razor is a view engine developed by Microsoft and released with MVC3 that is optimized around HTML generation using a code-focused templating approach. See also: Model View View Model, Modeler Euro Viewer Euro Adapter, Modeler Euro Viewer Euro Presenter, Observer Pattern, Presentation Euro Abstraction Euro Control, Hierarchical Modeler Euro Viewer Euro Controller. References. Further reading: John Galloway, Phil Hillock, Brad Wilson, and K. Scott Allen, Professional ASP.NET MVC3, RICS, 2011, ISBN 1-118-07658-3, Jeffrey Palermo, Ben Skerman, Jimmy Bogard, and Eric Hexter, ASP.NET MVC2 in Action, Manning Publications, 2010, ISBN 1-935182-79-X, Stephen Sanderson, Adam Freeman, Pro ASP.NET MVC3 Framework, 2nd edition, A Press, 2011, ISBN 1-4302-3404-0, Jonathan McCracken, Test Drive ASP.NET MVC, Pragmatic Bookshelf, 2010, ISBN 1-9356-53-0. Stephen Wolfer, ASP.NET MVC Framework Unleashed, SAMS, 2009, ISBN 0-672-32998-0. Commercial and non-commercial projects. Telerik UI for ASP.NET MVC is a lightweight framework for building rich and responsive ASP.NET MVC user interfaces. ASP.NET MVC Project Awesome, a rich set of helpers for building interactive AJAX-enabled web applications. ASP.NET MVC Sitemap Provider implementation for the ASP.NET MVC framework. Sitemap is a free library for simple generation sitemaps. ASP.NET MVC Controls Toolkit, a complete set of server controls for ASP.NET MVC. jQuery ASP.NET MVC controls, a pack of ASP.NET MVC compatible controls based on jQuery and JQGrid. DevMagick Faker framework to TDD test-driven development and simulate the underlying layers of the MVC projects without writing code. ASP.NET MVC4 Project, an ongoing project to locate blood donors using online maps. Data moving plugin, advanced controls for ASP.NET MVC built on top of the MVC Controls Toolkit. ASP.NET MVC5 Project, open source Reddit alternative. Sample projects, EFMVC, ASP.NET MVC3 and Entity Framework 4.1 Code First demo web app using ASP.NET MVC3 RTM, Razor, EF Code First and Autofac, ProDinner, ASP.NET MVC Entity Framework for Code First DDD jQuery sample app shows the usage of DDD, Entity Framework for Code First and jQuery in ASP.NET MVC. It also has a multi-language UI and a very rich and responsive UI. MVC Music Store, a sample store which sells albums online, demonstrating ASP.NET MVC's productivity features and data access via Entity Framework. 4. Nerd Dinner shows the very basics of ASP.NET MVC, also the usage of OpenID, Bing Maps, Twitter integration, etc. Bing Maps application in ASP.NET MVC 4a beginner's tutorial on using Bing mapping in ASP.NET, exploring MVC features to handle mobile and desktop views from a single application, MSDN article. External links, Microsoft ASP.NET MVC homepage, ASP.NET MVC, Web API, Web Pages source code on Codeplex, ASP.NET MVC Team Program Managers blog, ASP.NET MVC Deep Dive with Scott Hanselman.